Arknus Mental Hospital archival recording. Patient documentation session. Date: December 1st, 1950. Observing medical personnel. Dr. Samuel A. Jenkins. Tape entry number 300, side A. Notes and log on patient number 131,212. The patient's name is James, 27-year-old male. Height is 171 centimeters. The patient has been with us in the intensive care wing since July 30th, 1947. He has been diagnosed as suffering from frequent auditory and visual hallucinations. He also appears to suffer from regular nightmares and visions, as the patient claims. These visions, as the patient has stated, come to him at any time that he falls asleep, whether during the day or at night. The patient was admitted to Arknus after the untimely death of his wife, along with several hikers due to a freak Devourer attack in 1947. The incident has left the young man severely unstable and unfit to live on his own without constant supervision. After the Devourer incident, the patient began making claims that someone or something was following him. He made numerous claims of being watched by unseen visitors. The patient has been tested on numerous occasions for traces of Devourer or other Anubian DNA present in his bloodstream following the attack. All tests have proven negative. However, the patient does appear to be contaminated with small, non-lethal amounts of background radiation that is normally associated with high-level Anubian specimens. This is typically only seen in highly advanced sentinels. The nature of this background radiation is still unknown, only that it is Anubian in origin. Its long-term effects are yet undetermined. In high doses, this type of radiation, hereby referred to as the origin decay, has proven to have severe mental and physical effects on the human body. The levels present around the patient are severely low as of now, and pose no immediate threat to other patients or medical personnel. The USTF is conducting extensive research into Anubian background radiation types and effects. Access to these results are pending approval. The patient has been encouraged to share and write about his nightmares, as well as the hallucinations he suffers from, in order to better understand how he can be cured of these afflictions. The following is an excerpt from a series of diary entries the patient wrote about his experiences, and then shared with the on-site therapist soon after. I see him in my visions, standing at my bed, watching me from across the room when I eat in the cafeteria. He stares at me every moment of every day. When I close my eyes, he starts to speak. He whispers in my head and speaks to me. His vicious guard bestowed on me his master's visage, a godly imprint onto my very mind. He speaks to me, he sees me. His shadow stretches across the floor and engulfs my very being. He will blot out the sun and bring decay. He will return to us all. My eyes have been blessed to see him first. Note: the patient was asked by the on-site therapist about the identity of this mysterious being that follows him. The patient responded with the following: he has had so many names, known across time and space. He walks in eternity. The fools think him dead, but the Lord lives. He is the Lord of the desert, the God of decay. He ruled over the shadows for eons. He will come to reclaim his throne, to rule over humanity once again. I am to be his disciple, one of his chosen. I have been blessed. Note: upon researching the term Lord of the Desert within historical archives provided by the USTF, it was found to be possibly in reference to the ancient Egyptian god Set. Set was reported to have been one of the original Anubians. His continued existence has been put into question. Anubians have prolonged lifespans. However, the last reported sighting of the Anubian designated as Set was during the Middle Ages at the height of the Black Death outbreaks. The limitations of sentinel lifespans are as of yet undetermined. The existence of Set as an Anubian is not public knowledge. How the patient came across this information, or why he has begun seeing a being resembling the god of decay, is unknown. Further medication and sedation of the patient is highly recommended to reduce the frequency of hallucinations and visions. Patient behavioral update. December 15, 1950. The patient has become exceedingly violent and erratic within the past 3 days. The patient has begun to scream and howl about the god of the desert and the throne of sand. He has also begun to sketch and scribble bizarre symbols and illustrations within his journal. The patient is refusing to take any form of medication and continues to avoid taking their prescribed tablets. The patient claims that their nightmares and dreams are bleeding into his waking hours. that the set character is not the only entity he is witnessing during waking hours anymore. The patient has stated several times that those around him, i.e. his fellow patients and hospital staff, are against him, that we are enemies of his Lord, and that we are trying to, quote, erase the mind of God from his vessel. The patient has made several references to beings, including Thoth and Horus, two Anubians who served alongside Set in Egypt's early days. The whereabouts of these sentinels are unknown. The patient has been restrained in their room until further notice. The patient's erratic behavior continues to worsen. He has been heard screaming some of what is transcribed below. They are coming. They have hidden away for so long. Across the world they hid and spread their visage to their loyal disciples. I am not the first. I will not be the last. You can't keep holding me here. My Lord has gathered more of his fellow kin. They are all looking at me, watching me, waiting. You have to let me go. I must aid in God's plan. You cannot delay his return. Patient update. December 20th, 1950. The patient's madness has seemingly begun to spread to the other patients in the intensive care wing. Other patients, independent of one another, have started to report sighting moving shadows and hearing the, quote, heavenly voices of the gods. Note, Arknus Hospital is a highly secure facility with measures in place ensuring that those of the Anubian species cannot and will not be able to enter any part of this facility. The claims of moving shadows are unfounded. Detection and security systems donated by Tala's United Technologies ensure that no Anubian can enter the hospital grounds without being found and captured. We do not admit patients of the Anubian persuasion anymore. The other patients continue to ramble about living shadows and being visited in the night. Actions will be taken to remedy these errors and to better medicate all patients within the intensive care wing. In total, 3 patients are now inflicted by similar visions and hallucinations to those of patient number 131,212. Each patient claims to be afflicted by a different entity or visitor, independent of one another. Logs on these other patients and their hallucinations in relation to patient 131,212 will be updated and added to the Arknus audio archives hereafter. End of tape 300, side A. Patient documentation session completed.